Hello, everyone. My name is Piyali Kamra. I'm a senior enterprise architect at Amazon Web Services. And what we'll be discussing today is how to build your own AI coaching agent, real-time voice training with Amazon, Novasonic, and Strands agents. So let's get started. Now, whenever I explain these things, I usually like to kind of take a business case and try to take a problem statement and then see how we can solve that problem statement, right? So let's take an example of, let's say, a customer service associate, right? Or the frontline associates who are taking calls in call centers every day, and they are trying to solve problems. So in this case, let's just assume, we often travel. Let's say I'm traveling for work or whatever outside the country, and I'm trying to use my credit card, let's say at a hotel, which is actually the use case that we are going to see today. And for whatever reason, I'm not able to use my credit card, maybe because the bank has blocked that credit card should not be used outside the country, so they have some fraud monitoring systems, etc. Now, I call the 1-800 number, right? All of us have that 1-800 number. Whenever you have some problems, you call that 1-800 customer service number. And on the other side is this customer service associate, let's say, who's brand new, right? Has not had enough of onboarding time, is probably, it's probably one of his first few weeks on the job, hasn't gone through all the policy and compliance documents, and he's talking to me, a real person, and is trying to help me solve my problem. So that's the problem statement that we are going to be looking at. And this is very common in the customer service industry or the call center industry. The way the reps train themselves is actually they go over hours and hours of recorded conversations, actual customer conversations, to know how to do objection handling. They go through all the compliance documents of the bank. Sometimes they have to do cross-selling, upselling. They go through all the product documents of the company so that they can have proper conversations with the customers. Now, what if this customer service associate, this frontline associate, is now able to take the use of AI, and they can now learn by not just shadowing or listening to recorded conversations, but what if they could practice with thousands of digital customer personas which have been built from these recorded conversations? And what if we could mine the data that is there in the internal repository of the companies, or the whatever internal knowledge sources are there, and we use these two things to create realistic digital personas against which these customer service associates can really practice? How amazing could that be? Because now the training time from months could literally go to weeks. And that's what we are trying to kind of do today, right? Like, we are trying to make their life easier. We are trying to reduce their onboarding time. And let's see how we can do that. So as I was just alluding to, the way to create these thousands of callers to practice on is literally mining that call transcript data, which is there. They have all these recorded conversations. We are going to use these recorded conversations, and we are going to create realistic AI personas that will actually behave like real callers. These callers, and we'll see an example first, and then we'll go to the technicalities, because seeing an example and a demo will kind of open our eyes, like, okay, this is how a AI persona of a customer, a realistic customer, can actually sound like when it is trained on call data, and you provide a bounded context to that AI persona based on the knowledge articles of the company, the policy, the compliance docs that these frontline associates are supposed to be adhering to. So The second point is, obviously, I alluded to it, the knowledge assets and the internal guidelines. Because every business, every organization has got knowledge articles or policies and guidelines, what we are going to be doing, what we should be doing actually, if you want to build these AI personas, is you take these knowledge bases and you create a shared taxonomy out of it. So that this shared taxonomy is actually something that exactly the customer service rep can be then graded on. Because what happens in a call center is also these customer service reps, they are also graded by their supervisors. Have they told the right, have they told the right things, that have they greeted the customer properly? Have they said the right compliance specific things to the customer, like, oh, you are on a recorded line, your voice may be recorded, things like that. These are compliance specific things. So what happens is, we will see in our demo environment, we'll be using AI agents. One would be a coaching agent, one is going to be a live assist agent, and the other is actually going to be a digital persona of a customer, which has been grounded on the existing call center transcripts. And all of these together create a workforce training environment for the customer service reps. So before we do that, right, I just wanted to show you kind of 3 demos, very small demos. Realistically speaking, again, if you're building a training platform, an AI coaching platform, before you practice with the digital persona, you would want to train yourself first with some generated pre-reads. Now, I hope my screen is bright enough. What you see in the center over here is actually a pre-read for an AI-generated customer. So on the left-hand side, you can see that there are 3 AI-generated customers which have actually been generated from the call center transcripts. And then, because we have also mined the existing internal assets and the knowledge articles which are present in a company or an organization, we've created some shared taxonomy. Like, what do these knowledge articles mean? So whenever a digital persona calls in, we map it to the problem statement that the digital persona has. And as a result, we get certain pre-read briefs. So even before you as a customer service rep, in this case, I am a customer service rep, and even before I start training with the digital persona, I can actually go through the AI-generated pre-read briefs, which I'm showing in the center section. And I can actually practice, like I can open those links, I can read all the organization policies, and I'm better prepared for success. So then when I actually do a practice run with the digital persona, the chances are that the coaching agent, and I'll show you what the coaching agent is and the live assist agent is, those agents will give me a higher, rate or something like that. Like, so let's say I have, like, if you are getting, in all your practice runs, you're getting more than 95%, then you're good. You can go live. You can take live calls as a customer service rep. So if I have pre-read documents, then it's more likely that I'll be successful in lesser number of training runs with a digital persona. So let me just play. This one doesn't have any sound because this is a pre-read brief, right? So this is just like, I am taking this persona, Derek, and then I click on the center part of the screen to read the pre-read briefs. And what I'm doing is, we'll go through the technicalities, but I'm just clicking on the center, like pre-read brief, and it's bringing up all the knowledge article. So then I can go through the knowledge article and I can understand when such a situation happens, what am I supposed to say? And this is possible because I'll show you, I created actually a knowledge base agent. And this knowledge base agent is actually mining the internal data present. So this is, I'm showing you an example of a call center rep, credit card customer service rep. So he's going through all the pre-read briefs, the data that's been mined, and he knows exactly what to say to the customer based upon what problem they are facing. This is before the call center rep even starts training with the digital customer persona. So this is just, he's just reading and preparing himself, right? And again, there is an AI agent that I have created, and I'll go and explain that. Now the next one is, okay, I've read the pre-read briefs. I'm a customer service rep, and I've read, okay, I know when a fraud alert comes, what should I do? Or if somebody is calling me that, oh, my card is blocked, what should I do? I've read it. But reading is not as good as actually practicing it with a real customer. So in this case, I have used the call center records and I've mined a digital persona, and the digital persona is bounded. That means it knows what to say, it knows what objections to say, and it's from a live customer call, right? So let's just see. Hi, you've reached the fraud alert line of any bank. How can I help you today? You're talking to Dana.
Hi, yeah, my card just got declined at my hotel in Lisbon in front of a whole line of people. It's embarrassing. There's nothing wrong with my account. This is my own card, and you people just blocked it. Can you turn it back on right now?
I'll just pause for a second. So you see the digital persona is actually now saying like, oh, my card's been blocked. And if you look at the right-hand side, I know you're not able to see very clearly, but there's a live assist that is coming. So the live assistance is helping me. How did I do it? I again used the company's policies, documents. I mined that, and I created knowledge base articles, and I've tagged them. There is a common taxonomy. So when the digital persona calls in, and it's like, my card is blocked. For the card being blocked, there is a knowledge article, right? So that's a common taxonomy. And that live assist is coming. I'm reading the live assist as well. And there is a coaching agent also. So we'll see. We'll continue this. I'm really sorry that this happened. I know that's frustrating, especially while you're traveling. Let me help you figure out what's going on with your card. But before I do that, I do need to verify your identity to keep your account secure, and then we'll get this sorted out. Let me verify your identity. Could you tell me your name, your date of birth, and the last four of your card?
Derek Nguyen. So why was it blocked? I didn't do anything wrong.
I appreciate you providing that, Derek. Let me just get your date of birth and the last four of your card as well to complete your identity verification, and then I can pull up exactly what happened with your card.
It's 8823 and July 19th, 1990. Look, I get that it's for protection, but you could have just texted me instead of cutting me off.
Perfect. Thank you, Derek. I have verified your identity. Now let me ask you, was the transaction at the hotel in Lisbon one that you authorized, or did something look unusual about it?
Yes, that's mine. That's my hotel. I'm here for 2 weeks. Everything from today is me.
Got it. So that charge is legitimate and yours. Let me check if there are any other transactions on your account that might have triggered the block, or if we can get your card reactivated right now so you can use it for the rest of your stay. And while I'm checking the system, I see that all your transactions from today are legitimate. So it sounds like your card was flagged by our fraud system due to international activity. Let me get your card reactivated right now so you can use it for the rest of your trip.
Okay, good. How do I stop this from happening next time I travel? I don't want to deal with this again.
Great question, Derek. Before you travel next time, just give us a call or use our mobile app to notify us of your trip dates and destinations. That way, our fraud team knows to expect international charges and won't block your card. And I completely understand you shouldn't have to deal with this again before your next trip. So I just stopped over there because it's a long conversation. But as you can see, it's not just like it follows a scripted route, right? I took a persona, I mined it. That persona can go in different directions depending on whether I am asking the right questions, whether I give it the information it's asking for. It can branch in different directions. So that's how you can train your customer service reps on objection handling. And if Derek can even, like, if I do another call and I don't give the right responses to this digital persona, it could become angry and say like, oh no, I want to talk to your supervisor, right? Like, so you see, like, just by using that one call record, I mind that digital persona. I'm using Novasonic, and I'll go through the technicalities of this like in a few slides. But we just have 25 minutes, so I kind of cut the call short. Then the next thing is, again, you were seeing the live assist, right? And I was actually reading that live assist, and I was trying to respond back to Derek, right? But along with the live assist, there is also a coaching agent. And this coaching agent is up to you how you want to build your coaching agent. In my case, I kept it pretty simple, right? What I did is I'm just using a compliance and empathy framework, LEAR framework, and I'm saying like, oh, did he ask the right questions? And I also have a compliance document of every company has their own compliance or customer service compliance document, right? Like when a customer calls, how are you supposed to greet them? If the customer is angry, how should you deal with them? How should you deal with emotional customers? So all that is there. So I'm basically, the coaching agent is basically, I have mined that data again, and the coaching agent is going against that. And based on how the conversation is going, they're rating the customer service rep. Did I tell this? Did I tell this? And then it's also telling me, oh, in this turn, you should have said this. You did not say this. So it's scoring me. And one turn, I may get 100%. The next turn, maybe I goofed up. It takes the average, and unless the average is greater than 95%, you're not field ready. That's how I set it up. Like every company, every organization has different, the way they want to do it. But anyway, that's the way I did it, right? How did I build it? So now let's go into the building part of it. How did I really do this? So what I did was I actually built out 4 collaborating agents, right? One was a knowledge base agent. This is the very first thing that I did. I took all the internal assets of the company, my internal assets, whatever. I read through the policy docs, the compliance docs. I built a shared taxonomy. What that means is taxonomy is very important, right? And you can have your own different way of how you want to build a shared taxonomy. I kept it simple. Credit card case, a bank, the taxonomy could be fraud alert, the different kinds of things. So as you mine again, you'll use a prompt, but as you mine the data or your internal assets, you can come up with what a shared taxonomy looks like. And then you apply the same shared taxonomy even to the call center transcripts, which are coming, and that becomes the common thread. So that's how you know exactly what is the customer talking about, what documents am I supposed to surface, how am I supposed to rate the rep, and what coaching advice should I give to the rep. Everything is connected by that. So the second thing was a persona data mining agent. I talked a lot about call center records or call transcripts. I actually use that. I use the call transcripts, and then I created branching voice personas, and I'll show you how I created, like show you an example of what that means. Then I have the coaching agent. I gave you an example of how the coaching agent was built, and I also have a live assist agent. So your company data, internal assets, policy documents, that kind of becomes the heart. And the second part is your call transcripts. And you have to find a way to bridge the information between the two things, which I did with the taxonomy. So, all right. Now, what does a knowledge base agent produce? So I talked about 4 agents. The first agent is a knowledge base agent. What I did is, for example, I just gave slide number 1, like the card number 1, you basically see a card freeze and replacement, right? So if your card is frozen and you need to send a replacement, here is what should be done. That's what the customer service rep has to abide by, right, when they talk to the customer. And then I also have a metadata.json, so which basically has the taxonomy. That taxonomy is connected to this particular knowledge base. Just read a little bit, like I'm using Amazon Bedrock knowledge bases and Open Serverless as the engine where I'm actually storing my embeddings and the data. There is this concept of metadata.json. Again, that's because you want to go to a specific document when a specific problem statement is heard of, right? So that's how the metadata has the taxonomies. Think of it that way. So you know exactly which document to hit. Then the third, I just wanted to give you an example of how my taxonomy looks like. And just to like give you a short like look through how my taxonomy, like my real-time taxonomy looks like. Let me show you something, because I think sometimes when you see, it's much more powerful. So generated knowledge base. So here, look at this. This is how my shared taxonomy looks like. I mined all the data and this is my shared taxonomy, right? And each of these attributes are connected to the knowledge articles, right? They are connected to this. That's how my taxonomy looks like. And then this is the taxonomy, and then this is the Bedrock knowledge base. Finally, the metadata, the knowledge articles, you create embeddings out of it, and you put it in the Bedrock knowledge base. You could use anything that you want. I talked a little bit about the taxonomy. I just wanted to call it out. What were my top level categories? I had behavioral, compliance, and procedural. And then inside that, I had topics. So I used kind of a two-tier taxonomy structure, categories, and policies. And then what does this enable? It enables the 4 agents that we are talking about. The coaching agent, the live assist agent, the persona data mining agent, and the metadata. Metadata has got all the taxonomy so that I can filter the exact article that I need to pull the data from. How do I create? So we talked about the knowledge base agent. How do I create the digital personas from the real calls, right? I use Amazon Transcribe because that's how the recordings are done. And then I created a persona data mining agent. And what did it do? What was the output of it, right? Because people can create agents in different ways. But what's important is, what are the outputs of the persona data mining agent? I came up with personalities, right? From the call, kind of infer like, oh, this is a person, this is his age, why is he calling? What is his tone? How's his mood, right? I call it as the persona manifest. Persona manifest has got, it tells you about your persona, right? Like, how will you deal with the persona? What kind of a voice will you use for mining that persona? That is it. And then what are the tools, right? I generated some tools. If you look at this, you see the tools part of it, that I see what is the emotional state of the persona. What should the digital persona say, and what is the next behavior? Next behavior means, depending on what answers a rep is giving, what is the next function that it should call? This is very typical to Nova, to Strands bidirectional agent. I'll talk about it. If you all have not heard about it, take a look. Just Google Strands BD agent, BIDI, bidirectional agent with Nova Sonic, right? So this @ tool is very specific to the Strands bidirectional agent. Here is how my persona data mining agent is actually creating 2 files. One is the manifest.json, which is actually the personality of the customer's digital persona. And you see over there in blue, I have pre-read policies. If you remember the very first demo that I showed 3 demos. I had pre-read policies, right? So here is how I'm connecting the 2 dots. When I create a digital persona, I actually also, with the help of the shared taxonomy, I'm able to say, here are the pre-read docs that you need to, you can provide, right? And then file number 2 is the tool code, which I just showed on the previous screen. These are all the functions, right? The digital persona, because I don't want the persona to go off rail, right? I want it to be contextual. It should only talk about the data that it's been mined on, or the problem statement that it was mined on. That's why I provided these tools. And then finally, how do I tie them all together? This is what brings everything together, right? So if there's one slide that you want to remember, I would say this slide, right? Because here's everything comes together. The middle portion, that's the Strands bidirectional agent and Amazon Nova Sonic. Very easy, like if there is a GitHub, I think we already like on AWS samples, you will see just like a Strands bidirectional agent with Nova Sonic. You will see this part, right? So you see over there, I'm initializing the bidirectional Nova Sonic guardware because it's a speech-to-speech model, right? But how do you give it guardrails? The way I give it guardrails, this means I can use the really usage. That's my Strands bidirectional agent. By giving it the tools, system prompts. Oops, sorry. By giving it the tools and the system prompt. Again, I talked a lot about how my coaching agent is grounded. It's not generic, right? So I have all these functions that I implemented: evaluate, de-escalation techniques, check accuracy against policy documents, assess procedures, record certification score. That's what you saw, right? When I was telling you, like, one turn I might do very well. The next turn I'm not following the policies, but I'm averaging things out. This is again custom logic. You could implement whatever you want. This is the complete pipeline. Again, I think an important slide just to kind of eyeball through. And now what's the advantage of that? Like literally, I think a couple of weeks ago, I did this for a state DMV contact center use case. And all I needed to do was change my data, right? Because the internal assets are different. The call transcripts are different because people call in with different problems in a DMV versus people call in with different problems in a bank, credit card center or whatever, right? So that's about it. And it's so reusable. It's a reusable framework. But yeah, that's about it. The slides are going to be shared. After this, I just had like an architecture diagram. I won't spend much time on it because this is going to be shared, so you all can always take a look at it. All right, that's it.